This is the Gray Squirrel. Today on my episode of series of whatever it is I'm doing, I know I'm telling stories about, my history and my life and things that I've been through and things that have kind of led me to learn lots of things. But today, because I do plan on doing a lot of crafting videos. I'm going to teach you how to make stuff like knives and swords out of garbage, basically, that are basically invincible. I'm going to teach you how to make tools. I'm going to teach you about mushrooms and herbs and plants. This is just tobacco. I don't do drugs. Sometimes I drink a little bit, though, and then I get into wanting to be an engineer. Doesn't work out that way. So today, this little episode will be about mischiefs. In particular, concealing objects for use. Because you never know in this day and age when things are going to go badly, and you might need a tool, or you might need to know how to defend yourself, and you don't want everyone knowing that you can defend yourself, other than your hands. I will eventually do a little bit of hand, helpings. Just not much, because I'm not no master fighter when it comes to just bare hands, and my hands don't like to work. Anyway, video preface. Now, why am I smoking a cigarette? Well, believe it or not, a cigarette is a mischief. I think that's just what I'm going to start calling everything, because there are some Australian guys that like to call things mischiefs. And all right, so we're going to start calling we're going to call these things mischiefs. All right, so cigarette. Get in a confrontation with a guy or whatever, doesn't look good, you know it's gonna go south. Got yourself a stogie. What you can do with this stogie is you can hit it real hard. You get that tip red hot, and then you flick it very hard directly into their eyes, face, neck. Try to get it down their clothing. There you go. Create a distraction. It's an annoying distraction. It will cause pain. And you've now created a mischief. Well, what do you do after that mischief? You gotta have a follow-up mischief, right? Well, let me teach you about a follow-up mischief. Alright. So, a follow-up mischief could be anything like this. Or a very angry big fungus. Because my cat's outside. Let me yell at him. We had a dog situation. So, you have a mischief. You just simply bring out your spike from up your sleeve. Right? Now this is a chainsaw file. This one's seen a lot of use, but they have a really, really pointy end and then, just a blunt end. Well, if you keep the pointy end up your sleeve, you can kind of keep it there, and you don't really know it's there. You gotta kind of get used to it, because it can float around. Generally what I do is I have a pinch technique where I just make one of my, see right now it's kind of hooked right there under my pinky region, and I can kind of walk around in public and you don't really know it's there. And then I get into a battle, and then now I have a shank or a tool, or I have a tool of mischief. Well, what other kinds of mischiefs can we carry easily on our person? Well, you can see that I'm wearing a hat. Well, best believe there are mischiefs in my hat. But we can also reach under the collar here, and we can pull out a ballpoint pen. It's pointy. It's not going to last for many defensive uses, but they can be disassembled completely and turned into tubes. You know, if you do drugs, then you easily know how that works. You know, you bite this and you pop that end off. You have a tube if you need a tube or a straw or whatever. There's a mischief. Let's check out some more mischiefs. Let's see what's in my hat. This is not a hat that's very good for concealing mischiefs because it's kind of loose fitting. But inside of every hat, there's going to be one of these things here. Now, I have several things hidden inside here. One, I have a SIM key. You never know when you need to pop a SIM out of your phone real fast and make it disappear. This also can be used in a pinch to stick inside of an object and bend this prong, and congratulations, you have a ramshackle makeshift handcuff key. Alright, now we'll put that over here. We'll see what other kinds of things we can carry in here. One, we have just a nice little hunk of wire. Very similar. Can be turned into a lockpick. It's a convenient little thing to have inside. And you also can carry lots of these. I only have one in here as a demonstration. Zip ties. Especially the really strong kind. Zip ties can be used as restraints. They can be used to tie things up. Zip ties are just useful in general. I don't think I have anything. Oh, wait, hold on. You can also carry lots of bread ties. Now, a bread tie, why would a bread tie? Well, not only can you tie them, and they're malleable, if you heat them up with a lighter, which you should always carry a lighter, even if it's dead, because it still has a flint, even if it's dead. You can melt the plastic and then just pull it off. And there you go. You got yourself a nice hunk of wire. Well, I have one last mischief on my person right now. It's the biggest mischief. It is an entire fucking blade that's just been conveniently up my sleeve. Too short for you to really notice. You can easily carry it around. Now you have a self-defense weapon or a tool. And this is just not... This is an antique. It would never be used. It was just sitting on my bookshelf, and I decided that it would be, a good one to just kind of, have as a thing. So you just get it up your sleeve. You can't really tell that it's up your sleeve. You could also do the whole point thing where, you kind of catch it with your pinky, and then you just deploy it, and there you go. Kind of like how you can also use one of these. Have you ever played the game Assassin's Creed? Well, if you have one of these conveniently hidden in your sleeve, and you bring it out, you can bring it out through your fingers. Probably don't want it out that far. But then you can punch the living shit out of something with it. They're awfully brittle metal, though. They will break if you flex them a little bit too much. And I've got one last mischief that I'll go over for this quick video, which may be stupid, but hey, you might learn something. A card, piece of plastic. This just happens to be an old SIM card, thing. It doesn't really matter what it is. Now, what this does is it gets through doors. You slip this in the door jamb right where the door handle has a thing, and you can just rub and apply pressure, and pachink, it'll pop open. Now, if someone installs the door backwards, you can't do that. So if it's done backwards, let's get a pair of scissors here, and I'll teach you how to open it, even if they've installed the door latch mechanism backwards. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to just create a square shape. Alright, we'll just make a square shape here. And what you're going to do is now you're going to take this square shape and you're going to hook it over the thing, because now it's backwards, because they're at it like they're flat on one side and they have a slope on the other. And if it's installed like a normal door, you don't need to do this. But if they install it backwards, it makes it a lot harder to get in. So what you do is you just hook this over the damn thing right through the door, and then you pull it. Now you've infiltrated a door. Now, does not work on deadbolts. Deadbolts, we have another technique for. It's a little bit more complicated. We'll go into that one when it's not freezing balls outside, and I can go outside and explain some more mischiefs. So these are just a few mischiefs. Also, just so you know, don't mix bleach with ammonia or vinegar, or you'll create something kind of like mustard gas. So there's a chemical one for you, just for fun. Also, you can get tin out of pewter. I found that out last night while I was contemplating creating jewelry and tools out of copper, and then realized that copper doesn't hold an edge very well. Duh, I'm a metallurgist, I should know this. But you can melt down pewter and then take the slag off, the impurities, and then mix that with copper, and well, now you have bronze. Nice. Also, if you ever really want to make thermite for some reason, you can get those hot hands. You rub them together and they get warm, and you put them in your pocket or whatever, and it kind of keeps you warm. Well, those are filled with a lot of iron powder, generally. And if you take that iron powder and you mix it with potassium cyanide? It's not potassium cyanide. It's some kind of potassium sodiate. Something like that. I'm not a chemist. I don't keep these things in my head very well sometimes. But if you mix them together and then you make a fire, you just created something that's going to burn at over 2,000 degrees. So you could melt your way through a door hinge, a lock, pretty much anything. Also, you can jimmy most padlocks, master locks, using similar card techniques that I can go in on the next episode. But yeah, so this has just been today's episode of Mischiefs. Because you never know when you need to do something. And hey, knowledge is power, right? Well, this has been The Greatest Squirrel, and this has been a video that will probably get flagged or put you on a list. No, this is just kind of stupid stuff. The stuff that can put you on a list, those will have disclaimers and come later in the warmer months when I can get into a workshop. Alright, this has been The Greatest Squirrel. Be safe in this horrible world. And remember, always get into mischiefs. It's fun. I mean, you only live once, right?